atua, anō nei nau mai ki tā maki pai ngā hira. Ladies and gentlemen, kia ora, good afternoon. Welcome here to Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, the city of sails. Welcome here to Tāmaki Pai ngā hira, the Auckland War Memorial Museum. And we welcome you all here to your Māori cultural experience this afternoon. On that beautiful note, you may all clap very loudly right now. Kia ora, ladies and gentlemen. We are your Māori cultural experience group Te Whānau Raukura. Our hope and intent for this afternoon is for you all to hopefully leave here knowing, maybe have learned a wee bit about our culture through song and through dance. Now what you would have heard first was the sound of our pukaya, our war wooden trumpet. Now this was used in days of old to sound the arrival of manuhiri or visitors such as yourselves. You were then accorded by the karanga, which is the cry of welcome, given to you by one of our maidens simply saying, welcome once, welcome twice, welcome 3 times. But this would also be the first voice you would hear entering upon any of our traditional villages. Our group then stepped forward, giving you all the waiata tira. Waiata being song, tira as a group. This is our choral item. Now we performed this item to firstly pay homage to our kaihanga, the Creator, for him and his many beautiful blessings upon us here today. Secondly, to all our tipuna, our ancestors that have left these treasures behind. And lastly, to all our manuhiri, our guests, for joining us here this afternoon. Now in days of old, we the Māori, we never had a written language. A lot of our stories and histories were passed on through word of mouth, but then changed into our ancient ways of singing known as ngā mōteatea to help retain a lot of these histories. Now the mōteatea or ancient chant we'd like to perform for you all this afternoon is known as He Aha Te Hau. He Aha Te Hau speaks of a local prophet named Tītahi, who prophesied and had a vision of strange sea vessels coming upon the shores here of Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland. And with this vision, we knew the lives of Māori would change forever. So our ancient ways of singing for you all, He Aha Te Hau.
He Aha Te Hau mai wāwara mai tia. Hachi hara ki ngā nā ia mai ka pūpūtara kiri ki uta. Hachi ki ngā tua o ka ngātu. Pai a te pau pakai raka tū ki te mai te mata. He kuarangi e, he kuarangi e. He Aha Te Hau.
Now in the turn of the 1800s, we the Māori were introduced to a new instrument that would change Māori music forever. Now repeating after me, can you all say ki? Ki. Ta. Ta. Ki ta. Ki ta. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the kitara, kuta, the whakatangi raku raku. I'm sure you all know what it is. The guitar. Now with the introduction of the guitar, it enabled us to add different harmonies, melodies, tunes to our ancient ways of singing, bringing forth our next item known as the waiata āringa. Now waiata means song, āringa, synchronized hand actions. Now we use our hand actions to describe or depict the words we are singing about. Now there are many features you'll see throughout the waiata āringa, but the first two, firstly being the stopping of the right foot known as the takahi. Everyone say takahi. Takahi. Awesome. Now the second and most interesting feature you'll see is the shaking or the quivering of the hands known as the wiri. Now we use the wiri to depict that energy or life force that we know as Māori, as we believe everything in life has its own kind of energy, or life force. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the way at the Aringa, the action song we'd like to perform for you all this afternoon is known as Oe, which is a love song that hails from the region of Rotorua. So sit back, relax and enjoy the way at the Aringa. Kia into our next segment known as Ngā Mahi a Rehia, which is some of our pastime games and training tools. Now the first training tool we'd like to bring forth is known as the poi. Can you all say poi? Poi. Awesome. Now the poi is simply a ball tied to the end of a piece of string, used in days of old by our warriors to help us with the suppleness of the wrist to maneuver some of our handheld weapons. But then, later on, handed over to our maidens simply because they do it a whole lot better.
Yes.
Now with the poi, it can be used in many different ways and used to depict many different things, such as the rowing of our ancient waka or our canoe. It could also be used to depict the flight patterns of some of our native birds. Now beaten on the back of the hands and the palms, it makes a very great percussion instrument as well. Wow, how about a round of applause for our maiden? Now our maiden would like to bring forth a poi that we know as maketu. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the poi. next training tool we'd like to bring forth is one of our stick implements known as the tirako. Can you all say tirako? Tirako. Awesome. Now the tirako is simply a long stick. Now the tirako was used in days of old to help with the dexterity within the arms, the body posture. But nowadays, a warrior likes to use it to practice a very important golf swing. Awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to start this segment off with a chant that we know as kia rite or rite kute rite, which simply means to be ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, the tirako.
Rite kute rite, rite kute rite.
Now, all these training tools were used in days of old, as I said, to help with the suppleness of the wrist to maneuver some of our handheld weapons. Which brings us to our next segment known as Te Whare Tutaua, Maurako Māori weaponry. Now, there are three weapons I'd like to speak about today. Firstly, starting off with our first weapon, which is considered to be one of our most dangerous, which is our short handheld club, the patu. Can you all say patu? Patu. Awesome. Now the patu comes in many shapes and forms, but the one you're seeing being held by our maiden is known as the mere. Can you all say mere? Mere. Awesome. Now the word patu translated into English simply means to hit or to strike. Now there are many parts to the patu. Firstly, starting at the aterunga and the atetau, which is the upper and lower blade, used to bruise, to batter, to slice. We have the upoko ho, which is the butt end, used to hammer into the crown of the opponent. Accompanied with the patu, we have ngā kō kiri kiri, aneke hanga wai wai, our leg movements. Used in days of old to keep our warriors and our maidens light on their feet, but to also depict some of the movements of our native birds. Now the patu was held in the hands of an expert warrior or maiden to kill its opponent almost instantly. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our maiden and the patu? Now the next weapon I'd like to call forth is known as the po whenua. Can you all say po? Whenua. Awesome. Now that's the po whenua. Po being post, whenua, land. Now this weapon was used in days of old to mark our warriors' new territory if ever used in a battle. Now the po whenua has many different parts. Firstly, starting off at the taratu, which is the sharpened end of the po whenua, which was used to counter, parry, and stab. We have the tingongi, which is the head carved into the rako or to our weapon, signifying an honour to our ancestor of the holder. We also have the ate, which is our sharp blades used to bruise, to batter, to slice. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our warrior? Now our last weapon we'd like to bring forth is known and considered to be one of our most common, which is our long fighting staff, the taiaha. Can you all say taiaha? Taiaha. Now the taiaha has many different parts, but it was carved in an abstract form of our tipuna and ancestors. Firstly, starting off at the upoko, which is the head of the taiaha. On the upoko, you may or may not see a set of karu or eyes which were inlaid with paua shell, or you may know it as abalone. Moving down from the upoko, we have the arero of the tongue, which was used to counter, parry and stab. Moving up from the upoko, we have the awe or the hair of the taiaha. Now, this was decorated with raukura, or you may know it as feathers. Now, the purpose of the awe was to distract the eyes of our opponents, so our warriors could go forth for a strike. Moving on from the awe, we have the tinana or the raparapa. This is the body of the taiaha. Now, this is where the taiaha would be held, controlled, and maneuvered. Moving up from there, we have ngā ate, our double-sided blades used to bruise, to batter, to slice as well. Lastly, we have the rau, the butt end, used to thrust into the crown of the opponent. Tēnā, tukua. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our warrior Ngarimu and the taiaha. Now, our warriors and our maidens would like to bring forth a segment that we know as pāua and karo. Can you all say pāua? Pāua. Awesome. Now, these pāua are simple strikes aimed at the four most vulnerable parts of the body, which is the head, the neck, the body, and the legs. Starting off with our maiden with the short handheld club, the patu with the first strikes to the head. Pāua upala tua! Our warrior Puriri with the pōwhenua with the strikes to the neck. Pāua kaki tua! Our warrior Ngarimu with the taiaha with the strikes to the body. Ki tā tīmanga tua! Lastly, our maiden with the final strikes to the legs. Ki rawaiwai tua! Ladies and gentlemen, so that was some of our simple strikes. We also have counter-attack moves known as karo. Can you all say karo? Karo. Awesome. Now these are also aimed at the four most vulnerable parts of the body. This time we'll start off with our warrior with the pōwhenua with the first counter-attacks to the head. Our warrior Ngarimu with the taiaha with the counter-attacks to the neck. Karo kaki tua! Our maiden with the patu with the strikes to the body. Lastly, both of our warriors and our maidens with the final strikes to the legs, and of course our most favourite part, the family jewels. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our warriors? Now, to stay on that more traditional note, it has almost brought us to the end of our show, but of course we've got to save the most favourite item for last. Now, if you have ever watched a game of New Zealand rugby before, there is no doubt in my mind you'd know this item. It is the ever famous Haka. Now, the Haka was performed and used in days of old to prepare our warriors mentally, physically, spiritually for warfare. There are many features you will see throughout the Haka, such as the bulging of the eyes performed by both our warriors and our maidens. You'll also see the protrusion of the tongue, known as the whetero, only performed by our warriors, as you will not see our maidens protrude their tongue in such an aggressive manner. You'll also see the hitting and slapping of different body parts used to strengthen the body or to condition the body to take strikes from our enemies. Now, many people like to say it was the All Blacks, the world's best rugby team, that made the Haka famous. But we the Māori, we like to say it was the Haka that made the All Blacks famous. So ladies and gentlemen, feel free to pull your cameras out for the ever famous Haka. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for the famous? Yes, unfortunately, now it has brought us to the end of our show. But we'd like to thank you all for joining us here this afternoon. We hope all of you have learned a wee bit about our culture. You can take it home with you. Hopefully you can share with all of your family and friends, and hopefully you can bring them back next time to witness our show. Unfortunately, due to health and safety reasons, our performers cannot take personalized photos with you all. But to counter that, we'll keep our warriors here on stage for a good 10 seconds for you to take as many photos as you like, make them your new wallpaper, send them to your family, counting down from 10, 10, 9, 8.
Yo, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy this Maori cultural experience. My next video will be a tour of the Auckland Museum. Stay tuned, subscribe and like for more. Naka.